Welcome back to 10-Minute Texts, a weekly show for Torah students on the go. Hi, this is Isaac Shalev. Welcome back to another episode of 10-Minute Texts. This week, we're on Parshat Ki Tisah. And if you were only to study one parsha in the Torah, if that's all you had time for, if you wanted to get the crash course in Torah study, I would recommend you study Parshat Ki Tisah. But 10-Minute Text is all about focusing on just one small snippet, one small portion of the text, making a relationship to just a few verses, and give us an opportunity to take something home with us without having to understand everything. But I really do urge you, Parshat Ki Tisah is rich, it's fun, it's chunky, it's full of amazing moments and texts you might recognize, so I do encourage you. Today we're going to look at the text at the end of Perek Lamed Gimel, and we're going to do a couple of things. First, I want to set the stage for you and tell you where we are in the story. After we do that, we'll identify some keywords that we're looking at in this week's text, and we'll then go through the text and see our story, and then we'll come back to those keywords and what they teach us. Great, are you ready? Let's do it. So where we are in the story is that the Israelites have come to Mount Sinai. Moses has gone up into the cloud and is studying with God all of the various laws that God wants the peoples to follow. In the meantime, the people at the base of the mountain have been waiting for Moshe. He hasn't shown up. He seems to be late, and so the people approach Aaron, and Aaron and the people make a golden calf, something that, if you were listening to the commandments, was prohibited. They were not meant to make any idols. So here they are, they've just experienced revelation, they've just seen God delivering unto them the 10 commandments, and yet here they sin, they create the golden calf. And Moses comes down from the mountain, he's not very happy, he smashes the tablets, he takes the golden calf and grinds it into dust and performs some kind of ritual with the people, and now is interceding with God. God has decided that he is no longer fond of the Israelites. He tells them to take off their clothes, the very clothes that had been splattered with the blood of the covenant, and he indicates that he's no longer coming along for the ride. He's going to send an angel instead, and this is roughly where we are. Moses takes the tent in which the tent of meeting, the tent to which God descends, takes it out from the middle of the camp, drags it outside of the camp, plants it outside the camp, and goes off into the desert. I mean, the image is Moses does not want to fight in front of the children. So he takes the tent, drags it way outside, walks to the tent, and has a conversation with God. And this is where we are. So the keywords that I want us to look out for are those related to seeing. So we're going to look for faces, we're going to look for vision, and I haven't highlighted them in our PowerPoint, but we'll also run across just a couple of mentions of eyes, so look out for those as well. Because the metaphor here is a conversation between two people, and this is how our text starts. V'diber Adonai el Moshe panim el panim, kasher yidaber ish el re'ehu. The Lord spoke unto Moses face to face, like a person would speak to his friend, and this is our image of the two of them standing face to face and speaking with one another. But in fact, Moses can't see God. They're speaking as though they are two people facing one another, but Moses can't see God, and we know this because Moses asks God if he could see him. So let's go forward a little bit. We'll start tracking the words. You see we have this panim el panim, face to face. And Moses goes on to say to God that Re'eh, ata omer elai, you said to me, ha'al et ha'am hazeh. God, you just said that you're not leading this nation. It's my job to lead them up. And not only that, you didn't even tell me who you're going to send with me. But you've said that we're friends, that you know me by name, and that I have appealed to you. Gam matzati chen be'enai. Right there, be'enai. So there's one eyes. And therefore, if you have found favor in if I have found favor in your eyes, then tell me your ways, and then I'll know you, and I'll know how to continue to find favor in your eyes, and see ure'eh ki amcha hagoy hazeh, and understand that these people are your people. Vision in the Torah means certainty. It means absolute knowledge. When you see something, that means that you know it. Seeing is believing in the Torah's language, and only rarely is it called out the other way. So when God appears to Avraham, it's Vayera, right? He appears. It's to be distinguished from other means of knowing something, of hearing, for example, which is not considered as reliable a means of knowledge. So what's happening here is that Moshe is saying to God, you told me to lead, and you're not telling me how you intend to be involved. I'd like to know how you intend to be involved. Don't think that this is my problem. Re'eh ki amcha hagoy hazeh. Consider, this nation is thy people. They're your people. You're not going to escape. You're not going to get out of this. You're not ditching me with them, as it were. You're not going to disassociate yourself and your covenant from them. So the text goes on. God responds, my presence will go forth. Panai. And you have to appreciate the translation here is not literal. It goes with my presence, but panai is my face. My face will go, v'hanichoti lach, and I will give you rest, which sounds lovely, but in fact, what's God saying? God is saying, my face will go, and you will be just like the rest of them. In other words, Moshe makes an offer to God, and God makes a counter-offer. Moshe's offer to God is, tell me the way. Tell me which way we're going. Tell me who you're sending. And these people are your people. You're in charge. And God says, you know what? Okay, I'm in charge. But if so, then I'm going to give you rest. You're going to the bench. Moshe, you're just like the rest of the Israelites. How about that? Doesn't sound like a very nice offer in some ways. It's a way of washing his hands of Moshe. But more importantly, visualize. If God's face is going and everyone is following, then what are we all looking at? We're all looking at God's back, including Moshe, the same Moshe who, in this very moment, is talking to God panim el panim, face to face. So God's sort of saying to Moshe, well, how about I do it your way and fine, these are my people, but you're not my guy anymore. Is that okay? And Moshe responds the way the best leader does. He says, "Vayomer elav im en panecha olchim al ta'alenu mizeh." If your face isn't going, then don't take us out. In other words, yeah, you know what? It's much more important to me that you lead and that you take us than that I'm important. And you know why? How else would it be known that I, ki matzati chen be'enecha, that I found favor again in your eyes, ani ve'amecha. So Moshe is saying, yeah, I'm just like you, the rest of the people. Ani ve'amecha. It's only because you go with us. Veniflinu, and we are distinguished. Ani ve'amecha, me and your people, from all the other people, again, al pnei ha'adama. And Moshe is saying, you know what? I can live with that. There's almost this implicit al pnei ha'adama, this the face of the earth. Up until now, we're talking about the face of God. And Moshe is sort of calling God's bluff, and he's saying, big deal. Okay. We're going to be distinguished from all the people on earth because you go with us. That's enough. That's plenty for me. And so, in fact, God says to Moshe, okay, you know what? Also this thing I'll do. Also this thing that you said, that you asked for, I'll do, which is to say, I'll tell you my way. I'll let you know what's going on. I will make you different. Why? Ki matzata chen be'enai va'edacha b'shem. because you have found favor in my eyes. I'm certain of you. Right? Moshe is in fact called Ne'eman Beito, the faithful of God's house. God knows. God is certain of Moshe, so he doesn't want to really demote him. And now we come to our last section. Moshe responds to this, and he pushes all the way, and he says, you know what? Har'eni na et kvodecha. Show me your glory. And God now responds and says an interesting thing. He says, Vayomer, Ani avir kol tuvi al panecha. So again, we've got the face. So I'll have all my goodness pass before you. V'karati v'shem Adonai lefanecha. And I'll proclaim the name of God before you. So I'll elevate you, I'll honor you. V'chanoti et asher achon v'richamti et asher arachem. But, you know what? I'm going to choose who I want to be gracious to and who I want to be merciful towards. That's my business. I get to choose how I'm going to take out my wrath on these people and to what extent I will forgive them and have mercy on them. And then he continues and he says, Vayomer, lo tuchal lirot et panai. You will not be able to see my face. Ki lo yir'ani ha'adam v'chai. A man can't see my face and live. In other words, the distinction remains. There's men and there's God. And you can't see my face because a person cannot see my face and live. In other words, this thing that we're doing, panim el panim, this is weird. This can't really be the way. If you're a man, you're a man, and you can't live in that in-between space. And God goes on and says, here's what I can do for you. I'll place you into a cleft on a rock besides me, and I'll pass over you. And when I do, I will cover you with my hand until I pass, and then I'll remove my hand. Vera'ita et achorai. You will see my back. Ufanai, my face will not be seen. So, what's God really giving Moshe here? And I actually think that the key to this is looking at the verse in which we have, again, the panim el panim. Remember, we opened this with the description of Moshe talking panim el panim, but the very only time throughout the rest of this text that those words come together is in verse 19. And I will show it to you right now. It's in the word lefanecha. Lefanecha, which is before thee. Right, so beforehand we had Vayomer ani avir kol tuvi al panecha. I am going to pass all my goodness. And the translation that you have says before you, but al panecha means on your face. V'karati b'shem Adonai, and I call out in God's name. Lefanecha means before you, but it also means to your face. So God is saying, here's the best I can do for you. I can't do panim el panim. We can't see each other that way. We can talk to each other that way. I'll pass all my goodness before your face, and then I'll call out in the name of God to your face. We will converse. We'll be able to talk. But I can't do more than that. Right? I can't let you see. I can't let you be 100% certain. And when you think about what God does, God takes Moshe and he covers him. He covers him. He puts him in a cleft and he covers him with my hand until I pass by. God is suggesting that there's a different relationship here. That there will never be an elevation of man to achieve God's level. God and man will never see eye to eye. And even the conversations that we have, they're at this sort of interface, at that tangential point where the heavens and the earth touch. At the peak of Sinai, the cloud descends. But what God is saying is, what I really want is to cover you. I'll walk in front, and when I pass you by, I will cover you so that you know that I'm embracing you, that I'm all around you, that I am here. You won't see it, but you'll be able to sense it. It won't be certain, it won't be obvious, it won't always be clear, but it will be all around you. And then when I remove my hand, you'll be able to see my back. you'll be able to see which way to go. What I can promise you, God says to Moshe, is guidance, not certainty. You'll never know for sure. But if you look out for me, you'll see my back. And if you look all around you, you'll see that I'm covering you. Is that enough, Moshe? And that is enough for Moshe. And that is the paradigm by which God lives with the Israelites the rest of the way in the desert. We'll explore that further in coming weeks. Thanks again for listening to 10-Minute Texts. Now it's your turn. Please comment below. I'd love to hear from you, and I will be sure to respond. You can also subscribe here on YouTube or on my blog. Thanks very much. This is Isaac Shalev. Shabbat Shalom.